Hello, hello. What is going on? ¿Cómo están todos ustedes? Bienvenidos. Welcome to another episode of Hoy en Día TV. I am your host and producer, Yesy Rodriguez. Thank you again. Gracias for tuning in, for your support, and just for being here with me today. So today is just me because my co-host Manny, he's not feeling the greatest, under the weather. So I definitely send my prayers and thoughts to him. But nevertheless, the show must go on, and we are here with you. When I say we, I have a special guest, and I'm very excited. One of my dear friends. And yeah, but you got to hold on just a little bit, because before we get to that part, there's some things I got to say. So first, I want to share my condolences to the families and victims of the Georgia shooting that happened this week. So Wednesday, unfortunately, there were 2 students and 2 teachers that were killed in Georgia and shot by a 14-year-old male. Like, when I hear that, that really boggles my mind. Why? This 14-year-old had so much life to live. There's so much more to life. And it just makes me wonder what is going through this individual's mind to even want to do that, right? A lot of people are going to school. A lot of kids are going back to school. This is a joyous, or it's supposed to be a joyous and fun time where you can catch up with your friends, rekindle, you're learning, you're growing, and then this happens. And so I'm truly sorry. I send my condolences, my thoughts, my prayers to the families, the victims, and even to those who had to witness that, because that's very, very traumatizing. And I really pray that they continue to push forward in a positive light, in light of this negative situation. Also, I wanted to share, with regards to negative, the other day I came across a movie called Oddity. And Oddity is pretty much, it focuses on a psychic medium who attempts to uncover truth behind her sister's murder. But what's interesting is she uses objects that are haunted or have some sort of something like a voodoo, demonic, something attached to it, right? And so recently, myself and several other individuals, we experienced a theft while at a restaurant. And so, people with sticky fingers, that's what I correlated to. Like, people with sticky fingers, why? First of all, if we work hard for our stuff, you should work hard for your stuff too. Why have sticky fingers? But first of all, just don't have sticky fingers. Don't steal. People work hard for their stuff. Nevertheless, those who do steal or those who do have sticky fingers, be careful what you are sticky fingering, because these things, whatever it is, these objects may have some sort of something attached to it. And what does that mean? That you're bringing that to your home, to your environment, to your people. And not only that, that negative karma is going to follow you, because you expose to the universe a negative karma by stealing from somebody. Now, guess what's going to happen? The law of karma says it's going to come back to you. So just be very, very mindful of these things. I encourage you, if you do experience or know somebody who has sticky fingers or likes to steal or what have you, please tell them not to. First of all, people get a little too old for that. Come on, you're stop. Just stop stealing. We work hard for our money. We work hard for our stuff. If you want something, find ways to work hard for it, and you'll get it. Okay, I know I got to get off my soapbox, but nevertheless, just want to share that with y'all. Just be careful, because nowadays you just never know. All right, so I am going to bring into a positive light one of my special guests that I have today, one of my dear friends who I've had the opportunity to work with on her productions. Amazing writer, talented producer. She does film production and directing. And overall, she's just a wonderful person. And she's just growing so much. And I'm really proud to see her growth, to see who she is, who God has touched to be this amazing individual. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring on to the stage D'aja Fulmore.
Thank you. Hi, Yesy.
Hello. I am really excited to have you on. Welcome to Hoy en Día TV.
I am excited to be here. Say the name of that show one more time for me.
Hoy en Día TV, which translates to Now and Today TV.
Oh my God, I love that. Hoy en Día.
Dia. It's like,
Okay.
Hoy en Día TV.
I love it.
Okay?
I'm working on my Spanish. I'm working on my Spanish.
No, I got you, girl. If you wanted to learn something, me dice, tell me, I got you.
How are
Well,
you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Wonderful. So tell the audience, the listeners, the viewers, who is D'aja Fulmore?
D'aja Fulmore. I am a writer, director, producer. Um, I'm a friend. I'm a girlfriend. I'm a homegirl. I'm a few different things, right? But mainly people know me for film production. Um, that's really what I do. Outside of that, I also work in city government doing community economic development. So I also do a lot of governmental stuff as well.
Wow. So you wear a lot of hats. That is amazing.
Yeah. A lot of
So
people just assume that I'm only in film, but there's a lot that I actually do outside of that.
that's great. Yeah, no. And yeah, because you are definitely in the forefront when it comes to film, especially with your very well-known series Crossover. And so before we get into Crossover, let's start peeling the onion. And how did it all start, right? How did you get to this point in life? Like, how did it all begin?
So, to be honest, it feels like something that I stumbled into. So, well, let me say this. I've always been a writer. When I
Okay.
was in school, everyone knew that I was a writer. I wrote my first book when I was in high school. So I always had a gift of writing. Then I went to college, but I studied social work in college. I felt like I was going to be a social work major, and I knew I was going to work in something that would impact the world. I knew I wanted to, make some sort of change in the world, but I didn't really know what that would look like at the time. I got a master's degree in social work, but while I was in college, I would sometimes go to film sets, and I would be an extra. So I would just be in the background, um, and I never knew that it would later play into my destiny. I don't even think that was really my intent. Um, but one day, I was working here in North Carolina at the same job that I have now, in government, and I was leaving work one day, and I got an idea of a story, and I saw the story in my mind. I saw it, and I'm like, okay, I would love for other people to be able to see what I see. And God spoke back to me that day, because I had a conversation with God, and I said, I don't want to write another book. So what am I going to do about this? And He spoke back to me three words, and He said, just film it. And I remember that day. I was like, well, okay, if that's what you're telling me to do, just film it. I said, so if that's the case, I need to go find someone who's already doing film, so that because I don't know what that looks like. So I went, got a mentor, Marquand Ragland of Wilmington. He was my first mentor. So I always make sure I mention his name because he's so key to my story. And so he started mentoring me, and I just jumped in, not really sure what I was doing at the time, but kind of figuring it out, learning as I go. And from that day up until now, it's just been nonstop.
Check out this sponsor.
Sponsored by Divine Beauty and Accessories. Beautiful. Wow. And I'm really happy that I have been able to see your growth and
Thank you.
that I had the opportunity to work alongside you and Marquand and other amazing individuals to
Yeah,
see all of our progress as we grow and continue to evolve in our careers.
sure. It was a pleasure working with you all as well. And I want to say this too. A lot of times people see, you know, just me pushing the project out there. And some of my people don't get to see the role that you guys really play besides acting. You guys, not only were you an actress in the film, but you taught me a lot of things too, just about, even set etiquette and certain things that I had to grow into learning, because of the experience you already had. So it wasn't just, me leading, but you guys were pouring into me as well.
That's beautiful. And that's how it should be, right? Every opportunity
That's
that
right.
we come across, we should see it as a blessing to grow. And I'm
That's
glad
right.
that you mentioned that, because you did say not only as a leader,
Mm-hmm.
but you learned from those around you. It's a give and take situation. And that's
It
definitely a
is.
food for thought moment there, because I see a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm the leader. What I say goes. And it's like, well, I see your point, but
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
often
yeah,
opportunity to grow from each other, right? So I'm really glad that you shared that nugget, that food for thought for people. Just
yeah.
be mindful,
It's an exchange. It's an exchange, and good leaders know when to follow on certain things.
right?
You know, I think that's a part of it too, knowing your strengths and knowing your weaknesses.
Absolutely. You are on point. Absolutely. And so, just out of curiosity, when you started the conversation and I asked you who is D'aja, you mentioned that you wrote in high school.
I
What
did.
even sparked your interest to begin writing? Was it did you do you have a relative in your family that writes, or were there books of writers that motivated you? How did you even start from that point to even want to write?
You know what? That's a good question because I always question, like, where did I get my writing gift from? Where does that come from? But I will say this: growing up, my mother used to write a lot on paper. She wasn't. I don't think she wasn't writing stories or anything like that. She would just write, and so I would just copy her when I was young. I would pick pen up and just copy her, and it may start out with just writing. In high school, I had a teacher that used to pick on me a lot because I used to write my name. I used to write my name on. She used to keep papers where I would take a piece of paper and I would write my name over and over and over again. And she says, your name is going to be important one day because you always practice your name. I said, yeah, I always practice my name. Like I practice my autograph. I practice it all the time. Um, and so writing was always there. The storytelling piece, I don't know where that comes from. I wish I knew where that comes from. I think it comes from me being a person who really likes conversation. So outside of writing, I like talking to people, you know? So just the fun of dialogue, you know? So it just came, just love and dialogue. So it all translates.
That is beautiful. And I'm glad you mentioned that as well regarding loving dialogue, because from what I've seen or heard or even experienced, having communication, especially give and take with regards to communication, does not come easy for many. Some people, they sometimes feel uncomfortable or awkward because now they're having to pour who they are into the other person, and I'm wondering, okay, is this person going to accept me, etc. What are some of your tips on people that may find communication or even dialogue uncomfortable? What are some of the tools that you may use, or even if it sounds like it just comes natural to you, what would you share as food for thought or advice to those who may struggle with communication?
Ooh. Get some sort of development, take some classes, get some sort of training. Um, and if you know, develop friend groups. Um, because it usually starts there. It starts with, okay, maybe you start with just one friend. Maybe you only have. I'm looking at it from like a child perspective on up. Maybe you have one friend that you really talk to. Okay, maybe then you expand that and maybe you get two. But really, to develop those communication skills, it's really an art.
Right.
I personally, I'm not a public speaker. Like, I don't like it, and people think that I like public speaking because I get booked to speak places, but I really don't. And I'm actually very shy. Like, usually I don't talk much. I one on one, I'm great, but usually in front of large crowds, I don't really have much to say. So here recently, it got to the point where I was literally forced to start taking it seriously and going to get some sort of development. So I would encourage anyone, get some sort of mentorship, get some sort of support group, or whatever you can lean on that could help you develop that skill, because it is a skill. It is a skill and it requires practice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I appreciate you sharing that. And so getting back into getting to know more of D'aja. And so you shared that God put in your heart and your mind, just film it. And from there, what happened next? How did crossover evolve?
Okay, so I get the mentorship with Marquand. He tells me what I have to do. I present him the story concept, and he says, "Okay, you have to turn it into a script." And he doesn't really give me too much. He just tells me this is what you're going to need to do. He does
Mhm.
show me a software to use to work on my script, but for the most part, a lot of it he kind of left it open for me, and I thank him for that, because if he would have held my hand through the writing process, it wouldn't have been as authentic. And I wanted to tell a story that was really my story, right? And I'm like that. I don't like anyone writing for me, anything like that, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah, he did that for me. He gave me instructions on what I needed to do, and we went and we developed the story. Um, I turned it into a script, and next thing he moved me into the next phase. It was like he just told me phase after phase, what I needed to do. And through that, we were able to turn it into a full feature film. But it was a guided process. I will say he guided me through the process, but he didn't really hold my hand. He just
Mhm.
and I think that's what makes him such a great mentor, because of that. So
Absolutely. That's awesome. That is beautiful. And so now fast forwarding, you have your script. It sounds like you're ready for the next phase, which is filming or putting it into production because it did start as a series. From a casting standpoint, how did you start that process? Especially, and this is good food for thought, especially for those who want to get into acting or are actors and want to evolve into the acting world. From you being a casting, because I assume you did part of the casting as well, or did you have
yeah.
somebody pick?
Yeah,
Okay.
so he was still with me even through that phase of it, and he introduced me to people like you and um, gosh, Felly.
Mhm.
He introduced me to people like you all, Sherry. So that, but what he did first was, I developed the story, and I had in my head what I wanted the characters to look like.
Mhm.
So I was able to make selections um, for who I wanted for Sherry, and it just so happened it worked out. A lot of the people that he suggested, he was like, "Oh, I feel like you're gonna like her," or "I feel like you're gonna like." So I will watch the audition, and I was like, "Yeah, I could see them doing this." But it was really a me knowing what I wanted as the writer director, and selecting based on the audition tapes that were sent in. So I would say to anybody that's trying to get in film, look for auditions. Look for auditions. That's the key to get with any director, of course. And you can speak more about the acting side, because I don't know how you all prep to really get out there. But from being a director, I would just tell them to follow the directors that you're in. The directors that you're interested in. If you see a director and you really like their work and you want to be a part of some of their projects, follow them. Try to connect with them.
Beautiful. That sounds great. Absolutely. And from a acting piece as well, just when you get a script, picture it in your
Mhm.
head, right? But also how you would deliver it and record yourself because you have to critique yourself first. Then from there, I would recommend get a famous actor that you know that you love their work and try to see how close can you relate to that person, or you may not even come close, which means that there's room for opportunity, right? Because the goal is to grow and get better. And once you feel confident that you have a good solid audition, submit it. and it goes from there, because that's how you're able to evolve. I will say this, many times you will not get feedback, so you will not know what you did or didn't do right or wrong unless you get called. And then right, unless you get selected, and then from there you get notes, feedback, do it this way or try that, etc. And it's all constructive, positive feedback, right? Some people take it as negative. Please don't take it as a negative. This is an opportunity for you to grow and evolve in your field. You want to be the best. And in order to be the best, these are some of the things that you have to learn how to take is constructive, positive feedback. I call it positive because it's helping you grow, not only as an actor, but as a person, as an individual, etc.
100%.
So
100%.
that's just my food for thought there with regards to that. And so crossover then comes into play where it started to evolve and grow. And you've had a lot of amazing talent, actors, actresses, just individuals that really support you. How did that all evolve? Because it's grown immensely. Now if I don't know if this has been shared yet, you're working on future crossover productions.
Yeah, we're about to shoot part 3, and it became more than what I expected. I gotta say, I'm a little bit surprised. But the people, and it's not just my community, it's really like the world. We've gone viral so many times on the internet about this film. It just became something that the world really liked. And so through that, I was able to get another deal. So we dropped the first one. It does extremely well. One of my partners in Los Angeles, she sees the film and she offers me a 3-picture deal. And she says, I want to continue this crossover, this whole crossover wave. I want to continue that. And we also talk about me doing some other things as well. She was really in love with the writing. Something that I really like as well. You know, she loved everything about it, just like the world did. I mean, the acting is good, but the writing. The reason why I have to go to the writing is such a key piece, because to keep this going, you know what I'm saying? To move it from a crossover 1, 2, 3, and so forth. The writing has to continue to evolve. And I think one of the benefits of having her as a mentor, which by the name, her name is Chandrella Avery. But having her as a mentor, she has helped me in areas where, you know, if my writing is weak, let's just say, because I have off days, some days I write and I think it's okay, but it may not be given what I need it to really give. She'll tell me, you know, you need to punch it up here, or you need to pick it up there. And so I'll go back and I'll rewrite it. And so what has really made crossover continue to move forward is because we are growing as a people, as a collective. The talent is growing. The actors are getting better, becoming better actors. I'm becoming a better writer. I'm becoming a better director. The film crew is becoming a better crew. So literally, the reason why we're able to move this thing forward is because everyone is moving forward in what they're doing. So it's a collective.
I'm so glad you said that. And that's a true story. And I concur. I definitely see that the evolvement and growth with everyone involved, especially being in it from the beginning on this journey with you. And it's a beautiful thing. I love seeing the growth. It's like you have your baby and now you're seeing your baby grow into this adult. Now is aging beautifully, right? So yeah, that's amazing.
It is.
I mean, because this is your baby. You thought about this. God put the writing, the thoughts, everything in you to help you make crossover what it is. And then with regards to writing, you shared a few moments ago that you do have some off days. When you have those off days, I understand that you look to your mentor to push you, but what other things do you do to help you continue to be encouraged and to push forward?
I actually put it down. For
Okay.
me, when I feel that something is off, I actually lay it down. I If it's a day that I need to take, or if it could be a week, it could be 2 weeks. But if something feels off, I don't. This is just me now. Some people may have their own approach, but I do not write until I feel like it connects.
Hmm.
Um, because it's almost like this: when I write a scene, I feel it. I experience it first, right? So I experience it first. So if when I'm writing something, I can tell like, oh, they're gonna laugh here. This is funny. They're gonna laugh because I'm laughing while I'm writing it. Um, if it's something where I'm like, this one is gonna pull on the heart.
Hmm.
It might drop. Someone may drop a tear here. Sometimes I'll cry, like if I'm writing something. I think it was on Crossover the Revenge, the scene of Clifton Powell and Jamal Woolard when he's angry with his son and he's fussing with them in the movie. And it was a very powerful message in that scene. And when I was writing it, I said, they're gonna love this scene. I just said that while I was writing. I was like, they're gonna love this scene. And this, I said, this is actually really deep. And when I went online and I saw some of the comments on the viral post, they were like, that scene with it was so deep and this, that, they were talking about that scene and even quoting the scene. So, um, like I said, I experienced it first. Um, so most of the time, I know the reaction that I'm aiming for. So if I allow myself to be off and still right, it's not going to be what I want it to be when the audience receives it. That's why it's very important for me to stop until I'm aligned. Because sometimes it might be something that at my job that's got me kind of off that day, or it could be something I'm going through personally, whatever. But I can't let that get into my work. So if I feel like it will affect the work, I will not, I refuse to let it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's good feedback. And I'm glad you shared that because with Hoy en Dia TV, that is the goal. That's one of the several goals is to positively motivate, enlighten, inspire, educate, and entertain the audience and listeners. And
Mhm.
so in listening to you, you're sharing that it's okay to walk away for a little bit, regroup yourself, get yourself back together, and then get back into the game, so to speak, in your case with writing, but just in general with any of the other projects that the viewer and listener may be dealing with or experiencing, it's okay to walk away and
It's
just
okay to walk away.
write for a little
Put
bit.
it down and come back.
Exactly. Put it down
Yeah.
and come back, regroup yourself because guarantee it's what I correlate to like charging a cell phone. That came to
Mhm.
mind. That the cell phone's about to deplete in energy. So what do? You have to put it down so you can charge it and it'll go back to 100 and voila, you can use it again. And so
You can use it
that's kind of
again.
what's happening here. You have to recharge yourself for a moment, but you have to step away first. And it's okay to do that.
Yes,
Don't
you
be
do.
ashamed, don't feel bad, don't feel pressured because good things take time. If it comes too quickly, then you got to question like, is this really a
Hmm.
good thing?
Hmm.
Beautiful, good things take time. So,
Hmm.
food for thought
That's
there.
correct.
Check out this sponsor.
Sponsored by Collective Wear.
That is correct.
Awesome. And going back to crossover, when you hear the comments or see the feedback, see people quoting the scenes, how does that make you feel? How do you feel? This is beautiful. Like, how do you feel?
Um, I think I feel good about it. I don't think I ever get really wrapped in it because
Mhm.
it's so subjective. Like I'll look and I'll say, "Oh, let me see what the people are saying." And I'll look at it, I'll say, oh, "Okay, great movie, good movie, this, that." I'm reading the comments. I'm like, um, okay, they're enjoying it. And that's pretty much all I say. That's pretty much all I say is like, okay, they're enjoying it. So we'll keep it going. But I don't think I ever really look too deep in it. It does make me feel good that people appreciate it. Um, but I think the reward that I get the most from this isn't even so much what the people, around the world say about the project. Um, the appreciation that my biggest joy with this is what it does for the community, what it does for my state, what it does for the actors and actresses that come on the set, um, the the heights that we reach. You know what I'm saying, in terms of getting the best, bringing the best out of each other.
Mhm.
The development that we get, it's like in being in the gym and um watching yourself just transform. You're getting better and better. I think I get more fulfillment out of just seeing the growth, more so than the actual public praise. There's a lot of things that give me joy, um, that people don't see. Uh, so comments, they make me happy. I'm glad people appreciate it. But the main thing is behind the scenes, what I'm seeing when I meet a new actress that comes to the set, or maybe like actress like yourself who's been there from the beginning, and how you're evolving and how we're feeding off of each other. I think that is like the biggest reward for me. And I never tell people that, but that's really what I enjoy.
That is awesome. Yeah, that is beautiful. And yeah, I agree. I feel the same way with regards to when I have the opportunity to work with you on set and with the others that I've worked with as well on the crossover, and just seeing everybody's growth and how they've changed for the better, how we're growing.
And furthermore, outside of that, to see what you all do go on to do for other projects.
Mhm.
So it's not just whether it's okay, you take a piece of crossover and maybe you're able to use that as a demo to go get something else. And I get to continue to see your brand move forward. I've seen that a lot with a lot of people connected to crossover. They do crossover, and then they take that and they go and they're doing something else. So um that is what really inspires me, because it shows how, and I say this all the time to encourage people. It shows how you can literally be one thought away from you're one thought away from everything. um you can do one project today, and it can springboard you into a life-changing moment down the road. So do everything to the best of your ability, capitalize off of every moment, because every moment is preparing you for the next level. And so that's what really inspires me.
I'm glad you shared that as well, because that is a true story. When you seize the moment, like that said, that old saying, you seize the moment that allows you to grow. You have that opportunity to gain from that experience. Don't take that
Mhm.
experience for granted, because you don't know when that can come back. A lot of people, I've noticed that a lot of people are like, oh, it's just another this or just another that. Okay, I get it. But what if that were your last one? Are you going to seize that moment?
Mm,
Because things
mm.
change. In the snap of a finger, God can be like, oh, yeah. Oh, wait a second. Let me sit you down real quick.
Mhm.
So I'm glad you shared that. That's definitely deep. All right. And so what's next for D'aja Fulmore?
So right now we're getting ready to shoot crossover 3. So that is next. um Outside of that, I've got some other projects that I'm working on right now. They're still in the writing phase, and this is actually me shifting genres. So the next thing that most people can probably expect from me is actually a shift. I've written in one space, but now it's time to show people that I can kind of move in different genres. Um, so that's really what I would say is next for me. Like more experimenting with new genres, new bodies of work. You can expect more events. I do a lot of events, more public speaking engagements, um, just more productions, and I'm just staying open to everything. I'm networking now. I've got a connection with some management and things like that on the table. So looking at, potential agent, things like that. So I can't say all that I know everything that's up ahead, but just expect more. That's all I can say. Expect more of what we're already doing.
Absolutely. And how can they find you or follow you on your social media, website, etc.?
Yes, D'aja Fulmore on Facebook and on Instagram. I don't really use Instagram like that, but I prefer you follow me on Facebook, D'aja Fulmore.
Perfect. And I remember earlier in the year, if I remember correctly, you were offering a course or a workshop for people who wanted to become like film writers and how to get their brand moving. Are you still offering those, or if not this year, can they expect some in the future, or how would that work?
Yes, so we're definitely going to do more acting classes. And for the storytelling piece, I actually shifted that to be one-on-one. After I put it out, I noticed with the feedback that I got, it was an overwhelming amount of feedback. I decided
Mhm.
to shift it from a class to some one-on-one coaching.
Okay.
So if they contact me through Facebook, I will be more than happy to talk about, what that could look like.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And now getting back into the world of filming and just set, earlier you mentioned set etiquette. Now, this is going to be more food for thought for up and coming actors, right? Or even actors that are experienced that can learn, have the opportunity to learn and grow. What are some of the do's and don'ts that you would recommend that you've seen based on your experience for actors in general?
For actors, do's and don'ts on set. Just be professional at all times. If I could, and the thing is, you could probably speak more about the acting piece. Things that I see, and it's hard for me to say because most of the time I don't have any complaints about our actors when they come to set. I love the energy they bring. So, um, but being professional, showing up ready to work, knowing your lines so that we don't lose a lot of time with you not knowing your lines, um and understanding, really valuing the opportunity. A lot of times people arrive to things, sometimes with an arrogance. Understanding, especially if you're a beginning actor, understanding that there are people who really do this, like eat, sleep, breathe this, and it is serious. It is not just, oh, something to do. When you come to any film production, you need to walk in it understanding that it is to be taken seriously. So that's about the only thing I can say. And as far as being on set, just show up on time, know your lines, treat everyone right, be nice, because you never know. Like I said, you're there for that specific opportunity, but you don't know what is coming beyond that. So, and network, connect. I take it as a chance to kind of get to know some of the people that are on the set as well, because that's a lot of times how people get projects going forward, meeting someone there and making a connection. So that's all I would say.
Check out this sponsor.
Sponsored by
Author Manny Morales. And you made some great key points, and I definitely echo everything that you said, especially the part coming prepared. Like, as an actor
Mhm.
working with other, I think that's one of my big pet peeves is when people don't come prepared. Because it's like, hey, I'm prepared. Everybody else is prepared.
Mhm.
But what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? And so
Yeah.
I agree that is one of my pet peeves as an actor is it's like, okay, so you call yourself a professional, you have all this experience, but yet you're not prepared. And so I get sometimes people have off days. I get it. It happens. But when it's more of a consistent pattern, then to me, that's concerning, because not only is that consuming time, because time is very precious,
Yes,
it's
it is.
consuming money, because this is time equals money, because you're paying people, right? And the crew, that's all money. And then also you're delaying the project, because now the next set that was supposed to start, or the next thing that was supposed to start at 7, now it becomes 8 or 9 o'clock, because one person wasn't prepared. So come prepared,
Come
please.
prepared. Please
You're
come
lying.
prepared.
You're lying. And also do your best. Like, if call time is 9, get there like 8:50, get there at 8:45. Do your best to come a little earlier, because that way they know that, hey, you're here. Like, if you get there right at 9, I mean, I guess if you hit traffic and stuff, again, things happen, but do your best not to make this a consistent pattern. If call time is 9, get there at least 10 to 15 minutes early, because that way it'll give you a chance to go to wardrobe, makeup, etc. Have a chance to chat with the casting, or the director, I should say, regarding getting notes, getting a feel for what to expect, etc. There's just a lot to do there.
I agree.
And with regards to treating people with respect, I get that we all have different experiences or things we've seen or witnessed. But when it comes to arrogance, that's one of the things that I don't understand. And I'm glad I don't understand, because sometimes arrogance, it's like somebody can be over arrogant, where they can be like too cocky, where they're like, oh, it's all about me. And it's like, whoa, buddy, sit down, because there's more than just you here. And so it's one of those things where, like I mentioned earlier, in the snap of a finger, God could take that away from you. And then what are you going to have? God can quickly sit somebody down and say, okay, you want to be cocky and arrogant and all this and show out like you did this? No, sorry. Let me put a quick pause to that.
And
And so,
I think that was one of the things that I always liked about working with you, is that you always treated everybody the same. You always treated everybody kindly. You always treated everyone with respect, and you just love to work. You're about your business. That was one thing I always liked about you. You're about your business. I know if we call you for something, you're going to show up, and I know that you're going to be there on time. You're going to be ready to go, and you're going to do it with a good attitude. So that was something that always stood out to me about you. And that is why I always tell people that you never knew this, so you get to know this today. I always tell people, I always say, um, no matter where I go or what I do, you would always be a person that I would make sure I took with me wherever, because of one, your loyalty to me from day one, but your love for people and your respect and how you carry yourself, just very professional. So I want to give you your flowers today about that.
that is so, wow. Thank you. That is beautiful. And I receive it. And that's just, wow. I'm about to get a little emotional there, right?
Yeah.
That means a lot to me. Thank you for sharing that. And wow,
Yeah.
yeah. Whew, got me a little teary-eyed, girl.
Yeah, that was sincere. I've been wanting to tell you that, and it's good for your followers too to know about you, um, that you stand for what you stand for. So there have been times where even there were things in the script that you were uncomfortable with, and you said, I don't like that. Can we maybe change that here, or can we do something with this, DH? And there's a couple ways you can look at that a few different ways. But the thing that I liked the most about it was your willingness to advocate for yourself. And we have to understand, with everything, self-respect is always number one. People come and they give themselves. You giving yourself to me is an honor, and there are ways I can honor that back, give that honor back to you. And one of the things that you always advocated for was, hey, if it goes against your core values, you would be like, can we shift a little bit, Deasia? Can we, and some things I would be like, oh my God, I want to keep this. But I would be like, I care more about how you feel, because I feel like that's going to show on camera as well. It all works together. So if you feel good about the script, you're going to give me a good performance. you know so I just want to also give you your flowers in that. Always advocate for yourself.
And that I'm really glad you brought that up too, and I thank you for that, and also give you your flowers as well, because from a writing standpoint and from a directing standpoint, your willingness to make sure that your talent, your cast, people that you're working with, is comfortable with what you're writing. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, because we're working together. This is a working relationship, right? And others might be quick to say, oh, well, let's do this, let's do that. But it's like, wait, you took it as an opportunity to say, yes, this individual, this is what's going to make this individual comfortable. We want to, let's work together to pivot together, because with any relationship, you have to pivot together. It's not just what I say or what you say. It's how can we make it work? And so I'm really glad that you shared that, because yes, I advocate for me, because I know it's not only a self-respect for me, but it's a self-respect for my family, for my name, for my child. I have a son now, right? And so these are things that when he turns on the TV and he sees me, I want him to be proud. I want him to be like, that's my mom. And everybody's thoughts are different. Some people are okay with bearing it all, and hey, more power to you. But that's not me. That's not what I know God gave me. When something is written or expressed intricately in a way where you can really feel it, especially with you and your writing, there's the scenes that you write it, that you craft it to where not a lot necessarily needs to be said or done to get your point across, yet you can touch the person's soul with what you're saying or what you're doing or what the talent is projecting because of your writing. That's touching.
That's right. That is correct.
That is touching. And so I want more directors and more people in film, especially in the writing, to learn that beautiful craft from you, D'aja. Is you have to work with your talent. It's not always about what you say or what she says or what he says. How can we make this working relationship work?
That's right. That is right. That is right. So, yeah, I just wanted to give you your props for that, because, sometimes bend a little, but bending too much, sometimes it just gets you'll find yourself in a place that you just don't want to be. So
Right.
I've actually got the script coming back to you this week, so I'm interested in seeing how you feel about it. So yeah, you've got mail.
I'm excited. I'm excited to read it. I'm excited to continue to evolve and grow with you as an amazing person. I consider you one of my dear friends, and also just overall seeing both of our progress and growth, and with crossover touching so many people. That's beautiful, and God using us as vessels to bring this message to everybody, not only with crossover, but with just the other things, other projects, activities, businesses that we are involved in or do, etc. We're definitely blessed, and I'm honored that we have this opportunity to continue to grow. And I'm excited to read the script. So yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready to get it to you. It's been delayed, but it's on the way.
It's okay, because like I mentioned earlier, with any good thing, it takes time. It takes time. Just like with a good tasting wine. I don't know if you like wine, or whoever the audience, the listeners, if anybody likes wine, but if you've noticed, there's dates in the wine bottles that it says like 1980 or 2021 or what have you. That tells you the age, because as wine ages, it tastes better.
Wow.
And so with that in mind, anything good is going to take time. And it's okay. It's okay if it's delayed, because when it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And it's on God's time. So,
that's right.
Hey, whenever it comes to me, I'm excited. And the world, y'all just be on standby, because it's coming soon. It is coming soon.
And I
Yes.
just I want to bless your platform here because this is a great show, and I'm gonna keep practicing the name. But this is a great show, and I just see this getting bigger and bigger for you. This show feels good. This
Thank
feels
you.
good.
I appreciate that. Now, I will share this with you. I started Oyandia back in 2018. And at that time, I was going into an actual studio to film live. We would bring different guests, and I did that for 2 years. But COVID hit. And so with COVID, just like with many other things, a pause came. And so I paused it for a long time. And so shout out to my honey who encouraged me to start it. He says, people loved Oyandia. What happened? Why did you stop? And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Why did I stop? And so this past March, I relaunched Oyandia TV. And I love it. The growth is amazing. I am booked out till February of 2025. So with guests, like it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And you know how some podcasts have like focus topics and all that. With me, is lifestyle. It's a bilingual lifestyle show. Yo hablo español. I speak English. It's like for everyone because my goal was again to enlighten, entertain, educate, inspire, and and just pretty much make sure that people get a good vibe every time they listen. They learn something. They get inspired. They get motivated. Learning to take a negative situation or what may seem to be a negative situation, what is the positive that you can see from that? What is the positive side? Because from every negative, there's a positive. That's how we grow. That's how we learn. That's just life in general. I mean, who I was yesterday is not the same person I am today. And so that's pretty much the focus of what Oyandia TV is. With every episode, my goal with every story, just like the story you shared today, D'aja, with every story, every guest, etc., to motivate, to inspire, to educate, to enlighten, and to entertain the audience and listeners. Because this life, this world is hard. Just like I mentioned when I first started, I feel bad for the families affected in a Georgia shooting. That's life. That's life for them. Somebody lost a loved one. Life is not easy.
No,
I see when I drive through downtown or through most of the cities, I see homeless people, homeless on the side of the streets. And it makes me wonder, like, we have 8 billion people in the world. How can this person be homeless? Like, why? It boggles my mind. And so those are just two of the things that stick out. But I wanted to create this platform because I wanted to be a beacon of light, a beacon of hope, helping people take whatever negative situation to inspire them to say, hey, you can do it. And it's not going to be easy, but you can do it. And so, yeah, here we are
And
today.
that's why I say your platform is blessed, and it's just going to continue to get bigger and bigger. So I just wanted to speak that blessing over you and this platform. God bless your platform. This is awesome.
Thank you so, so, so much.
You're welcome.
And so anything else that I may not have asked that you want to share, any words of encouragement, inspiration, etc., to the listeners and viewers?
No, I think I've said everything there is to say about me and what we're doing and everything. Um, to your listeners, continue to tune into this platform. Um, Continue to share this platform. And the reason why I'm advocating for the spread of this platform is because of the very thing you just communicated. Right. And we get a lot of negativity online. We every day is something we're waking up to something new. I was at work when I saw the breaking news about the school shooting today. And I remember just pausing for a moment, just like trying to find out what happened. I'm Googling everything. I'm like, where is this at? And the city was actually very close. I used to live in Atlanta for some time. I stayed there for a little while. And so when I saw that, it moved me. I think it moved us all. So if I could just say anything to your listeners, I would tell them to continue to follow you, because as they continue to follow you, they will continue to be following the light, because I know everywhere you go and everything you do, I know what your message is. So stay tuned for more on this platform. That's what I would tell your listeners.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And this is just one out of several. Hopefully, we'll have you back on in 2025, D'aja, so we can talk more about your projects and what you have at that point, because you're going to continue to grow, evolve, and things are just going to get more blessed than what you are already. So, yes, more blessings. Absolutely. And so to the listeners and the viewers, thank you all for your support, for tuning in. I'm happy to say that you can find us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. You can listen to us on Spotify, Samsung Music, Amazon Music, Deezer, RSS. And I'm working on getting us on Pandora, iHeartRadio, and what's the other one? Apple Music.
That's nice.
I'm working on those three, but they're coming soon. But you can still find us on all the other ones I just mentioned. So, and shout out to the sponsors that support us. We have Collective Wear, we have Divine Beauty and Accessories, we have author Manny Morales. You know what? I have some commercials on here, so just look at the commercials. They're the sponsors. But yes, and so like I always say, the sky is never the limit because the galaxies are endless. So thank you for tuning in to another episode of Hoy en Día TV. Until next time.